Okay, good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Out in the Hamptons. I'm your host, Michael Jefferies, and it is an honor today to have two guests. My first guest is sitting with me right now, and it's a Grammy Emmy-winning artist, producer, recording art producer, and engineer, Miss Cynthia Daniels. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing just great. Thanks for having me here, Michael. Really
Thanks.
great to see you. We've
It's
known each other a long time.
great to see you, and thank you for coming out in this horrible wet weather. Did you make it over without
I did. I rode,
spinning out or
yeah,
anything?
I rode on a float. Mhm,
Floated into the studios.
yeah.
Well, super excited to have you. And like you said, it's been a while. Geez, I want to talk about your state-of-the-art studio that you have here, right here, folks, in East Hampton. You want to talk creative. Miss Daniels is doing it right here in the Hamptons. Can you tell us about your state-of-the-art sound studio?
Oh, my state-of-the-art recording studio. Yeah, I feel really lucky to have a place that has the aesthetic and technical equivalent of a New York or Los Angeles studio. And I think because of that, I've managed to bring a certain clientele as well as lots and lots of local music and local musicians and be able to bring a level of excellence, I hope, and inspiration more than anything. And I built the studio in 2011. I had been working in New York for many years, and we don't count them anymore, except in private. And I had fallen in love with the Hamptons in the late 80s. Still had a nice career in New York. And when I bought a house here, small house, I found that I was creating every room to be a little recording studio because only people in our business, in the arts, we don't really separate our homes away from work. We bring our work into our homes. It's all the same. And so every room in my house had some foam on it and equipment in it and instruments. And I was starting to get a lot of sessions and also working at another studio out here. And so it was both a personal and professional decision to build a studio. And it was personal because I was living with my partner then, Corey Crane, and my business is loud. I do all kinds of video promos and for everything for MTV to, I knew Real Housewives of New Jersey and the sounds coming out of my studio, never mind all the musicians walking through and saying, hey, and the whole house was really a recording studio. So it was basically, it's me or the studio. So we decided to bump the house out, which turned into an entire rebuild, build a state-of-the-art recording studio designed by John Storick.
Yes.
And that's a really long-winded way of telling you how what can I say about the studio, but it's history and how it came to be.
It wasn't built, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Well, no, it's just that I never would have planned on having a career out here. That's the bottom line.
Is that right? Initially, you came out just to enjoy getting out of the city and
yeah, I just loved it out here. But then I noticed I was bringing work out here. It was no longer, it wasn't a getaway from my work. It was, oh, what can I do here? And ride my bike to the FedEx and send a tape off then.
Yeah.
We had tape.
Did you find that the flow out here, the energy that's out here and so far away from the pace of the city influenced you in some regards to,
Well,
your aesthetics?
Oh, the aesthetics. Well, certainly, as I said, I enjoyed doing work at 6 a.m, going into the studio in my PJs, mixing something, sending it, say, to Patty Lupone. I remember doing that, riding my bike to the FedEx and then going to the beach. And, but as far as the aesthetics of the studio,
Yeah, well, I meant more what you bring to the finished product of music.
is it Hamptonian?
Yes, I love that Hamptonian.
It's
Does
probably
it
more.
seep in a little? I
Why
kind
not?
of think
Why
it
not?
doesn't actually. you seem like a very disciplined artist. And also, I wanted to say the thing that comes across for me is that the passion that you bring to your craft
Yeah.
is huge. I sense like your energy, and
Good.
so I think following for you, like between you and your client and what their end game want, what they want,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you can like focus right in on that. That's the impression I get.
Yeah, I think what's great is that for a lot of the people, either people who live out here can find or vacation out here, and a lot of my work is in the summertime. A lot of the work with celebrities is in the summertime because they have summer homes and they have their kids out here and they're on a vacation and they don't have to drive into New York City for, do a 6 hour round trip to do a few lines on a movie because I do a lot of work with TV, movies, and music. And so I think we all bring the vibe of the Hamptons, of the beach and the woods. I have
Mhm.
clients coming in, scuba gear.
Oh,
Well, not really scuba gear. They come in,
Wet.
half wetsuit,
Yeah.
just like get me in, get me
You have
back
a
out to
stash of
my.
nice towels.
Absolutely, we have a guest room for directors. We have a
Yeah.
director suite.
Love it.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of things that go on. So I think everyone brings the vibe of some sort of peace and that energy, that release of the city energy
Mhm.
when they come in. And I hope that the studio has a nice vibe. I've been told it does. So once we're inside the studio, that vibe has to be uh, specifically to inspire the artists.
The vibe is back, folks. It's been pretty challenging few past 4 years with the COVID, the pandemic.
Mm.
Did that affect your business in any ways?
Well, it did affect my business. See,
As it did many folks.
yeah, but the thing is that it affected it in a very positive way.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Can we go into that bit?
Yeah,
Okay.
because those who lived out here may have remembered that our population tripled in March of 2020. Everyone left the city and they bought homes, they bought their second rentals, and they just parked out here because people weren't going to school and they weren't going to work. And although that led to a lot of need for internet uppage in the area, what
Yeah.
happened was my work completely tripled.
Wow, so you were busy.
I was busier in
Mhm.
those first 2 years than I had been in 10 years.
Yeah, I imagine some great work came out of that period.
Um, I think I definitely made some really wonderful records during that time. I think it was in spite of, rather than because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We continued on. I had have an interesting setup of glass doors. So um, I have sliding glass doors where the drummers or people load their equipment in with no stairs. And those sliding glass doors are also on the inside between the control room, me, and the artist. So for 2.5 years, people walked in through the outside sliders, and I had a sign that just said, "Your room has been disinfected. Please put your headphones on so we can communicate." And I sent out emails. I'm a SAG-AFTRA certified compliance officer for COVID. It had to be.
Mhm.
So uh,
People felt safe.
people felt safe.
To create.
Well, they felt safe to create, and they just felt safe, and we could do our work. There was a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of film studios were sending kits to a lot of our actors' homes, and they didn't really want to do that. They want to come and have a professional help them. And we made some great albums, but I'm not kidding. There were beautiful music was made, but it was made between doors. It was really odd.
Yeah.
I practiced a lot with my band.
Can we get into an example of maybe one of the artists you worked with during the pandemic that you're really proud of? I'm sure you're proud of all of them, but something that stands out?
Yeah, I'm gonna mention four projects that stand out.
Okay, yes.
One was Jimmy Fallon came to do a duet with Dolly Parton, and we
Wow.
worked with Dolly in Nashville.
Mhm.
And this, Zoom had become the thing,
Yeah.
and so everything was Zoom, the communications. But then Jimmy came in and he sang his part, against Dolly's part in Nashville. And there was a lot of that going on. So that was fun, really fun. Beyonce had to come in a couple of times. She was extremely careful during the pandemic. She brought her daughter in because they were just hanging out. And, you know, it was all behind the glass doors. And
Yeah.
it was for an amazing song, Say My Name, a female version, which is originally for all of the young Black males who had been really destroyed, had lives destroyed in many ways through misidentification of criminal activity and by the police. So she came in and did the female version, Say My Name, Breonna Taylor, that sort of thing. That was one, and then we did a couple of other projects, and then I did a beautiful album with Fred Raimundo, who is a local artist, but is an amazing, talented guy. And we had bands in, I've been wearing masks for a really long time. It's been hard, it's been strange.
I think one of your clients is into Eden.
Oh yeah, Indie
Yeah.
Eden, yeah, we're working on a tune now.
Oh, you
Couple
are?
of tunes, yeah.
Oh, nice, new
yeah.
music.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I think actually, when they came in the beginning of the summer, it was the first time I'd taken my mask off with a client.
Oh, okay, yeah, what a relief.
Sorry to talk about the pandemic so much. It's just
I know.
kind of still with us.
Yeah, well, speaking of challenges, the writers' strike is happening now. Is that
Well,
affecting you
that
guys?
really affected me, and not positively. It wasn't the
Oh,
writer's
that's-
strike, it was
okay,
the
1 for
actor's
1?
strike.
Yeah.
1 for 1.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know that we could compare them, but there have been an awful lot of challenges. If you're familiar with the expression FUBAR, I'm not going to spell the acronym on air, but things have been pretty much moved beyond all recognition, and we have to recognize the changes and the way we can adapt. And that's what we've done in the studio. And so the actor strike was really hard to adapt to, because I went from having a whole lot of work booked to none.
oh, everything's on hold.
Yeah, or gone, because after Labor Day, a lot of the actors go back to school with their kids, if
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, oh, school started, right, yeah, yes, that's true.
Even if they're not working.
Yeah.
But that made way for some really great musical projects. But yes, the mostly the actor strike affected August at Monk Music.
The month of August, yes.
The month of August, yeah.
Why-
Scarlett Johansson came in, and she came in during the pandemic. We did a lot of work together, and she came in like just the day before the strike to get some things done.
Yeah.
And everyone knew it would happen.
Did it give you any time to explore some of your own musical?
Well, yes, in fact, it did.
Did it?
Yes, what a nice segue.
Well, thank you. I'm working on that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Tell us more, please.
Well, I play guitar, I write
Yeah.
songs, and I've got a gig coming up, a private party gig with my songwriting partner in musical crime, Sarah Green.
Mhm.
And we worked very hard playing many hours a day.
So do you play acoustic or electric?
I play electric.
And what does Sarah play?
She plays electric viola, she plays acoustic on this gig.
Oh, nice. So it's a dual.
It's a duo. Well, we have a drummer also.
Oh, and a drummer.
Drummer, yeah.
I love it. And is it melodic? How would you describe your
Is it-
sound?
Is it melodic? Yeah, we have a melodic sound. We don't go too far out with, we love to play jazz, but we typically play melodic jazz, more like standards.
Oh, nice.
Do a lot of that, and mix in our own music and familiar tunes. For this particular gig, we've been working on cover tunes
Oh, nice.
as well.
What's the gig? Can we talk? Is it like
No,
a
it's just a private party.
private event? Yeah.
It's a private event,
And are you?
so I should keep it private.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to invite her. I don't want to invite
The address
every.
of the event is okay.
I don't want to invite everybody. It's this Friday, and a certain level, we've been working very hard.
I'm
to do it.
fascinated. Do you not by the event, but you exploring your talents? Because I know a long time ago we talked about your roots and
Yeah.
was it Boston? So,
Yeah, Boston.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you sing?
Yeah, I sing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What kind of voice do you have? Is it a soprano?
Well, you know, all kinds of adjectives went through my head. When someone asks, "What kind of voice do you have?" Because it's not classical, I can't say, "Well, I'm an alto," but I'm kind of an alto, uh, and I like to sing rock and roll and just about anything actually, anything that moves me. And
Is the music you're writing more rockish, would you say? Or
jazz, rock,
jazz?
blues,
Or-
fusion.
Interesting. I can't wait to hear it.
Uh,
Will you tag me when it comes out?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few songs out, you know, we took a hiatus the band took a hiatus during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so things are reforming around my musical career, as it were.
And then did you come up with the name for your band?
OCDC.
OCDC, love it. OCDC, folks.
Well, my initials are CD, but it's probably obviously caffeine, definitely chocolate. But it also reflects
Those are the names of the members of the band.
absolutely,
and chocolate.
absolutely.
Well, I wish we could segue into a sample of that, but this is just
It-
on the fly.
Yeah, we're just flying. Yeah, I didn't bring my guitar. Hi.
Hi, cameras. Well, folks watching us today, I almost said listening because I do a podcast,
Sure.
but can explore more of what Cynthia Daniels does by going online and checking out her. Not only do you have a state-of-the-art studio, your website's just amazing. I love it. So it's
They're
Monk
built that way.
Studios. Yes.
They're supposed to be amazing, although I need an upgrade.
It's more fluid than others websites I've seen. It's
Okay.
easy to navigate, and
Oh, and it has a tour.
yes, it has a wow factor too. It's
Oh,
really
little 3D Google tour. Google people came and said, "Can we just give you this 3D tour?"
oh geez.
And they shot all day, and you can just go on my website and push the screen or the mouse and just sort of wander through the studio and even into the living room and the bathroom. They took all the shots.
Yeah, that's pretty
But yeah, it's a
detailed.
good place. It's a good way to get a tour of the studio.
I remember years ago I was in your studio when the recording studio was in the closet, but that's no longer
Yeah, that
the
was
case.
what I was talking about early
Yeah.
on. I had just a studio in every little room, and that was the room where my wife said, we have to do something about this arrangement.
Yeah.
Yep.
But now it's just a beautiful space to create.
And very quiet and very private and great for meditation, great for people to come and just let go of whatever's outside. And, you know, let whatever's inside come forth.
Mhm. Yeah, and folks, so just go to the internet, everyone does, and check it out. It's Monk Studios, Monk
It's,
Music Studios.
Monk Music Studios, plural,
One
.com.
word, yes.
Monkmusicstudios.com.
I mean, if there are young artists out there who, are interested in perhaps contacting you in some way, is that something you would be, open to? Or
More than open.
More
In fact,
than
I'm
open.
I'm actually looking for a young artist right now who strikes a common chord together. Something I am.
Strikes a common chord. Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the best way would be go to the website and go to contact. Yes. They make it very easy.
They do make it easy. There are even
Well, just rush
directions.
on over here. We have 5 minutes left.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Go on, LTV. I wanted to ask, I mean, you've worked in every genre, I would say. Is that true? I mean,
It is true.
yeah. Is there any genre that really is the core of your passion, or are you kind of into all of them at the same levels?
Well, because it's been a long life, and I've been very lucky to work in a lot of genres for a lot of reasons. I love recording jazz. I spent 30 years of my career working with the Great American Songbook, producing traditional pop vocals, Tony Bennett style singing, what we once called cabaret, which is probably like a no-no name now, but the Great American Songbook. And I recorded it and mixed about 100 Broadway or off-Broadway shows. So that's a big part of my heart, but my heart will always be from my roots as a rock and roller.
Oh, that's really funny. I love
Yeah,
that.
you know, I mean, the things I've learned and how to communicate and hopefully inspire a vocalist and how to get the best performance is what's been really most important to me. It's all about like just, I have this little piece of tape that's could have been there for 10 years, just says inspired. So whenever things start to appear to fall apart or rushing or people are tense, just breathe and inspire. That's what inspire means, to breathe.
Growing up, what were some of the rock bands that inspired you?
Ah, okay. Well, David Bowie, Todd Rundgren, yes, um, all the bands in the late 70s, 60s and 70s, Jefferson
Jefferson
Airplane.
Airplane, one of my favorites.
Just, you know, I'm a product of that time. And I still listen to classic vinyl and classic rewind on my Sirius FM because I can always find Jimi Hendrix or you know,
Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin or Who'll Stop the Rain.
Mhm.
And so those things were formative. And Eric Clapton, I mean, I wasn't a huge Clapton fan, but I was a huge Traffic fan.
Yeah.
And,
Amazing.
you know, and then I
Yeah.
went through high school and got into prog rock like Yes and progressive rock.
Mhm.
And then I just, you know, got turned on by David Bowie and my whole life changed.
Oh, really? So that's one artist that really had.
He's my main man. That was
Yeah.
the name of his production company. And so it's always funny when I say main man. Oh, yeah, that would be it. The biggest influence musically, on my soul, inspirationally, and just so many people. You know, I came out of punk also at
Oh.
a certain point. So, you know, there was a lot of Lou Reed and Velvet Underground and Patti Smith. But there was this essential seed, and I can't express how amazing Todd Rundgren is because he was one of the greatest. He's one of the great geniuses of our time. But personally, and for my life recognition of the fluidity of life and existence in general, kind of like Buddhist roots. I'm a Buddhist. Came from David Bowie and all of his work and the work that he inspired that moved out through the decades from there.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Tina Turner's?
How could I not be?
Isn't she was a Buddhist as well?
Yes, she's I hate to say a different kind of Buddhist, but there are many different traditions.
Okay.
All one.
Yeah.
All one.
Um,
Although the Buddhists might say one what?
what would the answer be?
That's for us to find out.
Um,
I
earlier,
had to throw a koan in there, a little one.
yes. Earlier in our interview, you mentioned you had worked during the pandemic with Dolly Parton.
Well,
and
with Jimmy Fallon.
and Dolly Parton.
And Dolly
Yeah.
was on the other end.
Yeah.
I mean, she had her part down.
And I know she's promoting a new rock album now that she's been inducted into the Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
Rock Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
which is, I find it fascinating. One of my
Yeah.
biggest influence as a fan and as a remixer myself, Dolly Parton's music has always influenced me. How do you feel about her doing a rock album?
Rock On?
Yeah, Rock On. Have you heard some of the tracks?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
No, I haven't. I should.
I think some of them have been teasing us with some on YouTube.
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Yeah. Actually, yesterday, I had the opportunity, and today, to work with Robert Downey Jr.'s son, Indio, and his band, Indio.
Love it. I love that name, India.
And
That's a
their
great name.
music is just amazing. And it's high energy rock and roll, and it brings me back to my roots. And of course, it's very, the 90s had a big resurgence with high energy rock and roll.
What's your favorite David Bowie song, if you had to just take one home with you?
Well, it's probably one that a lot of people haven't heard of unless they're Bowie fans.
Oh, then, yeah, we'll have to do our research.
And when I did the song As You with Bonnie Grice, where she allows you to come in and just bring your 10 favorite songs, and that's pretty hard for a musician to bring the 10 favorite songs. I played a song called The Bewlay Brothers off of Hunky Dory as one of my favorite Bowie songs.
Anything particular about the, is it the structure?
Yeah, it was the structure, it was the magic and poetry and the vibe. It's a ballad.
Yeah.
It's a ballad.
Well, I'm gonna,
I could
I'm gonna
just,
check it
I could
out.
just give you a list of, many, many beloved Bowie songs.
Yeah,
But the Bewley Brothers is something that, it's a bit encrypted, and that was by design, meaning he knows that he knew Americans love. I hated it when I read that he knew Americans loved encrypted things. They love to find magic and special meanings where things are random, and that was a lot of his trip, was bring the random universe in and create special meanings out of it and see what happens to people. Uh, we are meaning machines.
folks, it's been such a pleasure having you on today. Thank you for coming again. I mean, it's been crummy weather out there. And folks, again, go to Monk Music Studio
Studios.com.
studios.com. Yeah, and learn all about it. Uh, she's producing the real deal here in East Hampton, in the Hamptons, creating just state-of-the-art music and projects from people all over the world, would you say?
Sure.
Yeah.
We're all from all over the world, I hope, at some point. And if we aren't, go out and see it sometime. But
Yes,
meanwhile,
experience it.
this is definitely home. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.